Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise ye the Lord.
Hi all, welcome to the Exodus Leadership Lounge. This is where you'll find all of our interviews with our cover features. And this is also where you'll find our leadership coaching, because we'll be doing also mass leadership coaching. So all the sessions that we'll be doing, you'll find them here as well. Our first guest is a recording artist who goes by the stage name TNT. He's also our cover feature for the Theexoduschristianmag magazine, the December issue.
Yeah.
Welcome, TNT.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, how are we doing today?
Everything is well today.
We're blessed.
Yeah,
You're
very
one of
blessed.
those that say that I'm blessed.
It's not a norm, but yeah, I am blessed.
Okay, that's good. TNT, so how did that come up? Because I believe it's not your real name.
Yeah, no, it's not my name. TNT is a name I got in high school from my friends, because I mean TNT is a powerful explosive. So when you trap together, you know, they'd be like, yo,
bomb.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So that's how I adapted to it, and then I just took it.
So your intention was to become a bomb?
To blow people away.
In the gospel space?
In the gospel space, not a violent way.
So what is your real name?
It's reality, Kevin Khas.
Okay. All right. And tell us about your spiritual journey. I believe you are still young. Your age is?
19.
19.
Mm.
So tell us your spiritual journey. How did you get to be in the space where now you become a recording artist for gospel?
Oh, okay. Well, I've always been, I've always been Christian from the start. Some people thought I found God now because of the music, but I've always been a devoted Christian. It's just that with the talent that I had for rapping, I wanted to go mainstream. But then at the same time, I asked God, you know, to use me to be a soldier in this world for His works. So what I wanted to do and what I wanted Him to do for me was two different things. Until the J-Ross actually helped me to realize that, nah, this is your mission on this earth. So from that, I took it, and then I told myself that, you know what, I've always wanted to know, what do I need to do on this earth for God? And now that I found it,
So how, because I'm really interested in, I always want to understand, you know, how people got to that space where they realize that, you know, there's a difference between being a Christian and being just an ordinary person. So for a lot of people, they go through, you know, like what we call, you know, humps, trials, and all those kind of things until they get to that space. So you come from a Christian background, family, and you were raised in church.
Yeah.
But you got to become born again at some point.
Yes.
Because you were not born, you know, born again.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand what influenced that decision to become born again.
It is more, first it was my mother, because she took us to church all the time, you know, but I think when I entered high school, it was a type of self-realization type of thing where you actually ask yourself, why am I Christian? Is it because of my mother taking me to church, or it's my own journey, you know? So I had to do that for myself. I had to find why I'm Christian and have my own relationship with God.
How old were you then?
I could say maybe where I became self-conscious about it was maybe around 15 to 16.
All right, okay.
You know, let me say 16 mostly.
All right.
Because when you enter high school, there's different influences, and a lot of people want to go into atheism and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to understand everything and ask myself, why am I actually Christian? Why shouldn't I be anything else? And I think when God just helped me through a lot of stuff, whenever I needed Him, it showed me that, okay, I'm in the right path, you know, I'm in the right space, and this is where I should keep going. So with that, I was able to grow myself with Him and grow my relationship with Him. yeah, that is.
But there must have been something that triggered that question, you know.
It was, like I said, it was high school influence,
Yeah.
friends, and I think the music we listen to nowadays, you know,
Okay.
it's you hardly get gospel hip hop
All right.
that is everywhere in front of people as compared to what we're listening to. So with everybody trying to practice everything that we see, which I was doing the same, you just it takes you away from Christianity
Yes.
a lot. So at the same time, I was a youth leader at church
All right.
for youth, and at the same time at school, I'm in a different situation.
Yes.
So I think there was always the influences, but I always had to backtrack because knowing that I still need to set an example.
Yeah.
But then again, I can't just be two-faced. So with that, it switched me on.
So if I'm a 15-year-old youngster, and I'm thinking, there's TNT, he's doing gospel right now, he's young, but does he know anything about this life? Because he grew up in church, his mother always took him to church, and say, I'm this 15-year-old, I've never been to church, because my family has never really exposed me to understanding who God is even. So if I want to speak to TNT and I want to get to understand things, what can TNT tell me? You know, like, does he even have an experience or understanding of where I am? What can TNT tell me as that 15-year-old?
Well, I can say is that in high school, because even though I have a Christian background, I mean, church is a building at the end of the day. So I was coming to church, then I went back to high school every single day.
Yes.
So obviously the drug life and alcohol, I did practice with those things, I dabbled with it.
Yes.
But then obviously later on, okay, I told myself that, you know what, this is taking me away from God, and I still want to build a relationship with God. So I could say to that 15-year-old that I've done everything that you've done. Not everything, but I've done enough to say that I understand what you guys are going through.
Okay.
I've done it too, and there's a way out of it.
Yes.
It's not difficult at all.
So when did you actually give your life to Christ? When did you become born again?
I was baptized when I was 12,
Yes.
but it was a family decision
Yes.
for us to get baptized, but I felt like because it was a family decision, I did it, but it wasn't for my own reasons. So I decided to become born again when I was 16, when I was at Pastor Dennis Erasmus in his office, and we were having a conversation about spirituality and everything. And then he asked me a very difficult question.
Yes.
He said, if you were to die today,
Yes.
do you think you'd go to heaven? And there was like 5 minutes of silence.
Everybody wants to go to heaven.
Yeah, everybody wants to go to heaven,
Yes.
but no one wants to die.
Yes.
So yeah, from there, he counseled me in that same meeting, and then he told me what books to read, and we prayed together, and from then I've just been running.
You have been in that. Okay, and what are the privileges that you can share, you know, of being born again?
Well, you are happier. Everybody has their ups and downs, but I feel like through faith, I always believe that it's always darkest before the dawn, you know. There can be problems now, but through faith, I pray to God that I know that everything will be well. Because, other people that aren't religious or something bad is going on, all they
Yes.
do is just hope. But I think with faith, you know, and believe that you will break through it, and it will be God that's going to help you through it. So I think with being born again is that apart from being hopeful, you already trust the result because of God is in your life. So yeah, being born again it's a healthy feeling.
Yeah, so everybody's looking for happiness, especially the young ones. They're looking for happiness out there, and most people think that happiness is embedded in having enough money or having lots of money. And you are saying that you know, God and faith is basically happiness.
Yeah.
You know. So how can I now, as a youngster, and say, you know, like I also want to experience that kind of life, to say there's joy, there's happiness outside money, because the world has actually made it, you know, a big thing that if you have money, it's done. You are sorted. But how can you convince me now to say that, no, actually there's something much better than money? Like for you, it is God, it is faith. How can you convince me, you know, to say move away from that? This is the better way of
I'd say look at my life as a testimony
Yeah.
itself. You know, a lot of people have their own testimonies. But for myself, I mean, being away from God, but wanting to pursue a musical career, nothing for me for my testimony. I mean, in high school, a lot of people had friends that could help them make music and studios and all that stuff. I never had that advantage. And I also never had the finances to pay for all those things. But then when the decision came that I had to make a Christian rap song, which was my first one, everything else started coming in. You know, I'm in a label, I've been to radio, my first songs were recorded. That is glorifying God.
Yeah.
But everything else that wasn't glorifying God hasn't even been recorded or anything. So I'd say, as a testimony from my life, you can see where the presence of God has a lot of benefits
Yes.
as compared to a life without God.
Okay.
I mean, some people, it could be coincidence that somebody is still gonna make it out there without God, but then with God, everything falls into place
Yes.
purposefully.
Okay. And so talk to us then about your music. I'm interested in understanding the type of music that you're doing. I know it's gospel, but now we're seeing that gospel is actually, you know, being broad. You find jazz in gospel. You find kwaito in gospel. You are doing rap. So talk to us about that.
It's I see it as something different. I still call myself a hip hop rapper, but the gospel is the main topic.
Yes.
Because I feel like for all gospel music or something, it would be it is a cliche for the youngsters. You see, if we hear it, we're gonna be like, it's the same old thing. So I just feel like with me rapping and making it hip hop, I'm taking a different approach because I'm talking about things I've experienced and the things that the youth are experiencing. So with them being able to relate to me makes them want to hear more. You know, so I'm not gonna, you know, just say, hey, God, but I'm gonna tell them that, hey, what you going through, I went through it, and God is gonna be there for you. So that's my musical approach to
So it's more of a testimony, and, you know, your life experiences, as well as not just the previous, you know, before you started rapping or started recording, but also the experiences that you'll be having as, you know, you go on every day. All right, are you going to be ministering in any way? Is there any song that maybe you'll slot it in that will minister to people?
Oh no, my music's not just about me and my journeys.
Yes.
You know, most of it is gonna be about healing,
Okay.
and obviously, ministering. That's what I want to do. I just want to show people that I can relate.
All right.
You know, to what they're going through.
Okay, so, you know, like, we know hip hop. You know hip hop in a secular kind of way. It only talks about the party life, the money, the alcohol, the parties, this and that, all that language that you find in it. And you find that young people relate a lot to this, like you were saying. They relate a lot to this music. And also, like you were saying, they want to live the life that they see in those videos. So how are you finding, you know, your hip hop as the gospel? How are you finding, what are your experiences now in terms of getting through to youth right now? Because you know, for example, with that kind of secular hip hop, the influence is really big. But with your gospel, how are you finding? What are your experiences now? Now that you have released at least two
So,
two tracks.
yeah. The way I look at it is that I was actually surprised when I started doing this Christian rap thing. Is that a lot of people are actually happy about it, saying that it's needed. And I just think that with the hip hop in the secular world,
Yes.
there's a lot of Christians that are listening to those songs either way.
Yes.
So whether it's non-Christian and Christians, they're listening to it because for them they feel like there's no other music besides that. So when they can relate to that, it's because of the life they want to live from that. So when I started with this Christian rap, I'm not the only Christian rapper, but I guess because it's not something that somebody would do with such enthusiasm and stuff like that. They didn't expect it, but because I'm fighting for it, they're also happy because they'd like to hear that sound because they're only used to this sound, even though most are Christians. So they'd like to hear this sound, even though it still sounds like their music, but now you're just praising God because a lot of youngsters are very confused in how they'd like to still live a life by God, but at the end of the day, still also live the type of life where it's full of drugs and alcohol with their friends and the type of music. Yeah.
So they think that there's a difference, the lifestyle that comes from the videos of the secular hip hop. It's very lavish and it's actually very attractive. So as a young person, you also want that life. Well, without alcohol and drugs and partying and all that. You want that lavish lifestyle, but you also want the music that talks to that lifestyle. But now you are coming with a different view or a different, like to say, this you can still have, but now put God in it. So you are trying to say, you don't need to separate your life between God and your ordinary life. That's what you are saying to the youth.
Yeah, I'm basically
Okay.
saying.
Are you winning with that right now?
I could say with the people right now that's following my music, I like to believe, they do enjoy it, so that's one thing I'm happy about.
Okay.
But I do feel like it is bringing about an impact into their lives and what they're listening to. That's why I want to go for, more with it because the type of music they're listening to already gives them a whole different view. So when I can rap about the same things, but I can talk about blessings, and this type of lifestyle, still the same, but with God in it.
Yes.
Then I think with them also, they don't need to be confused about it, but it makes them happier to see that, okay, it's actually still possible.
Yes.
This type of life, you can still have a lavish life, but with God in it. So I'd say right now, it's baby steps,
Yes.
but there's some success to it.
Okay, so how are people receiving your music right now?
They're loving it. Yeah, I was a bit shocked.
Followership?
Yeah, it's growing,
Yes.
but gladly, like I said, especially in South Africa, a lot of people feel like it's needed.
Yes.
Christian rap,
It is.
Yeah, I was surprised that
It is.
to receive the type of reception I was getting from it. So in terms of that, people are happy about it because, like I said, the rap and hip hop they're listening to right now is nothing about God. So for them to hear the same sound, but it including God, makes them more comfortable and happier to know that there is something that I can listen to that's joyful and.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So what are your expectations now going forward? What do you expect to do? How far do you expect your music to go?
I think for the next 5 to 10 years, I'd just like to. I don't even want to look at it as from a money point of view,
Yes.
but I'd like for the world to receive my music and give them a different perspective on Christianity itself and hip hop itself. There's a possibility for you to have fun and dance to the type of music without it having to be about naked women, have swear words and alcohol and drugs. So, I'm not really expecting big things. I just know that with God on my side, He's gonna help me spread this message, and that's the main thing for me. I'd like to just spread God's message and healing to the world.
Minister.
Yeah, basically.
You want to reconcile God's people back to God.
Yes, exactly.
With your hip hop sound.
Yes, exactly. That.
Okay, so school. School.
School. I'm gonna start studying next year
Alright.
at the University of Pretoria. I'm gonna do BCom marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So how do you find any link between that and music?
I mean, from a point of marketing, because I mean, you as yourself as an artist, you like your own business, you know. So I gotta learn how to market myself as a brand, also get my music out there. And I mean, with marketing, there's market research and stuff like that. So I think it just, in terms of the business side of things, it's gonna also help me to, you know,
understand as well. So you want to use it, your education. Do you want to use it for marketing in the music industry, or you're just gonna use it broad?
No, I want to use it for the music
for
industry.
the music industry only. Okay. So what made you decide to go for the marketing side? Because I mean, there's so many careers out there.
I wanted a lot of things in high school.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to first study music. I wanted to dance or do art. But then what my mom being very strict and I could say like her mindset with most black parents, which is what I know, is that they'd like you to get a type of degree that assures you an office job. Okay, so basically what I felt like is that I was boxed in and I couldn't study music or do dance or whatever, because they don't really fully see the successes of it as compared to an office job. So that's why I had to understand, okay, what are my traits and all that stuff. And then in my matric year, I went to the UP Open Day, and then I went to one of the lectures, and I saw that with marketing it had my personality, and it was my type of thing. So yeah.
That's actually good, because I'm asking because one of the things that we do as part of the leadership coaching is to ensure that people are taking the routes in terms of career that are in line with who they are, you know, not just. So I'm actually excited to understand that that's exactly what you did before you decided. So now, if I'm a young person and I actually want to get into music, and I see that right now, the only way to get into music is to be involved in the secular kind of music. Like you were saying, mainstream, you also wanted to go that route. Because somehow it makes it look like that's the easiest way to get into music. It also makes it look like it's the easiest way to succeed in music and make money. But if somebody else wants to also get into music and they're not really into that kind of thing, but they want to talk about building, you know, character kind of music, and what can you advise them to do?
I think it's best to, I mean, a lot of people say believe in yourself, but I mean, that is one thing to do. But also have faith. Apart from faith, you should have faith in action. Because right now, nowadays, no one will give you anything on a silver platter. So I really think that if they really want to get it, they should fight for it. There are many platforms right now, especially in this digital age, to get all your music out there. So for people like me, if you'd like to put out your music that's gonna influence people and stuff like that, those are things that I'm gonna look for. And when I see that in you, then I'm gonna say, hey, you know what, hop on this joyride with me. So I just feel like they should put their faith in action, and with what they do, somebody is gonna see them. I'd like to also create the platforms for people like me who couldn't get a chance, because secular music about party, drugs and everything is the easiest way to go, and not everybody wants to talk about that. So yeah, I'd like to create those platforms, but either way there is the internet right now.
So it's in the pipeline
It's in the
to
pipeline.
help.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's good because you always want to, you know, when you climb up the stairs, you want to be able to pull others up with you.
Exactly.
You know, not only just because, you know how they say it's very lonely up there.
Yeah, that's true.
But I suppose as higher as you go, you get closer to God, right? So you can never be lonely.
Exactly.
So where can we find your music now?
It's on all platforms, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, all of them.
All of the digital platforms.
Yeah.
Okay. And are there any live performances in the pipeline?
Coming soon?
Yeah.
Or right now, I have a separate team, a TNT team, right
Okay.
now with me. So what we want to do is that we want to work on a year plan for 2019.
All right.
One thing I know is that I'm already going to be doing the Dome next year for J. Ross's concert.
Yes.
That's one of them. But for part of our year plan, I'd like to be at National Youth Conference, Regional Youth Conference, and everything else we'll look at. But I'd also like to tour churches to build myself also and my name around.
How far are you with the album?
We right now, because we recorded 2 songs that are out, we've recorded another 3, so I think early next year we should be complete with it.
The names of the 2 songs that are out right now?
One is God, and and the second one is All Day.
So what is God talking about?
That's where I'm glorifying God. I'm glorifying God. Yeah.
Okay, and the other one?
All Day is, I don't know, I think it's just, it's a groovy track.
Okay.
You know, so it's like I said, you know, people want to listen to their type of hip hop, but now they're gonna hear that mine is the same sound, just with God. So this one is just a good sound,
All right.
just for fun.
Okay, so what are your handles?
On
Social media?
on Instagram and Twitter, it's @TNT_RSA.
Okay.
Facebook is TNTSA.
TNTSA. Anything available on YouTube?
Not yet, but coming soon. Yeah.
Okay. So videos in plan?
Yeah, 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing a lot of
You're
that.
gonna see a lot of TNT in
Yeah. All right, thank you. That was TNT. You will find TNT as our cover feature for the December issue. Theexoduschristianmag magazine. It will be out on the 1st of December, so look out for that. Thank you.